Hey there, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to this webinar on what's new in Cricut Design Space. My name's Carolyn. I'm with the scrapbookschool.com. Here we teach you how to scrapbook with your Cricut machine and just scrapbooking stuff in general, but definitely with the Cricut machine because it actually helps you to scrapbook faster. So tonight we are going to talk about some updates to Cricut Design Space. Some of you may not know, but every once in a while, I would say it seems like monthly for the most part, Cricut will do some updates to the Design Space software, which is supposed to help us to scrapbook or do whatever kind of crafting we do with Cricut more easily. Usually it's an update to a function that already exists, so it's like a streamline of a function, and other times it is a brand new function. So tonight we're going to talk about two brand new functions. One is live right now, it's Create Sticker, and then the other one is it's layers. I always forget the name. Let me look at my notes real quick. Convert to layers. It's called Convert to Layers, and that one is very interesting. And I was playing around with it, and I noticed some. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but when we get to that particular segment of our program, I'll give you a little bit more about my feelings about this Convert to Layers function. So the rundown for this webinar is, I've already done the welcome. The next thing we're going to do is talk about what's covered, which I already did, create stickers and convert to layers. If you have questions during the webinar, you can leave a comment. If you're watching in the Scrapbook School website, you're able to leave comments below on the page where the webinar is happening. I'm just looking over there to see if any comments have showed up. The other thing is, if you're watching this on the replay, because this will be recorded, if you're watching this on the replay on YouTube, you can leave your comments there. And if you're not watching live, I will be going back and reviewing to see if we have any questions after everything is ended. But feel free during the webinar itself to leave comments, and I will be checking periodically. You might see me do this to check my iPad to see if any questions have come through. So that's pretty much how this evening is going to go. I am going to first work on showing you the Create Sticker function. I'm going to show you how everything works in Design Space, and then I will show you what the actual thing that we've made looks like. So let me get my notes together, move everything aside. I'm going to fire up Design Space and get that running in the background. Okay, you should be seeing Design Space on your screen right now. And this is just a caveat. It may look a little different to you because I am in a beta version of Design Space. You don't need to use the beta version in order to do the Create Sticker, but you do need to be in the beta version in order to do Convert to Layers. So if my screen looks a little different than what you may have normally seen, that is why. So let's go ahead and we're going to fire up this particular project that I created for the webinar. And what you should be seeing on your screen right now is a beach ball and a Paradise Found embellishment cluster. So first, let's talk about the whole sticker process in general. So initially, back in the day, if you wanted to create a sticker, this is the process that you would use. You would go to, I'm just going to click upload so I can use this beach ball again. You would go, you would find your image, you'd add it to your canvas, you'd do any resizing that you wanted to. I'm going to turn these off so there's no confusion. You would make any adjustments. Like if you wanted to change colors, you could go into the layers panel and click on different things. Like maybe I want to make that pink instead of orange, or whatever you want it to do. And then, and this is an SVG. So this is a multi-layered file. It's not flat at all. So if I wanted to convert this particular beach ball SVG to a sticker, I would first have to select everything, make sure the entire beach ball image is selected, and then I'd have to come down over here to this panel and then click flatten. And then everything would be flat. Now, if I wanted to create a border around this particular image so that, would have like maybe like a white border, I would come over here to offset, and forgive me if I'm squinting because I have lights in my face. I would come over here to offset, and I'd slide this slider, and you can see how it's changing on the beach ball. Let me just, oh, I shouldn't have moved it. Let me try it again. Okay, so you see how it's moving on the beach ball. So I like a thin border, so I'll do that, and I'll hit apply. And it gave me a black border, so I'd have to go over here and click it to make it white. And then you would see that together, but you see how it made a little, I don't know if you can see this ghost in the background. And then I'd have to, okay, it's thinking. I would select both of these and then hit flatten so that the offset layer is attached to the sticker layer. And then when I went to make it on my sticker paper, it would actually print with that, or print with the border around it and then cut around that border. And that's the old process for making stickers. We don't have to do that anymore, thankfully. So I am going to actually add another beach ball back to my canvas. It's the same SVG file as before. What we can do now is we can go to create sticker. This is the new function. So as you can see, it says design custom printables or printable stickers and make them with Cricut Access. Now, I do have to let you know that in order to use the create sticker function, you have to be a member of Cricut Access. Cricut Access is a paid subscription that allows you to access a lot of different images or image sets within Cricut Design Space. It also allows you to use certain functions that are only available for Cricut Access members. Create Sticker is one of those functions. If you are not a paid subscriber to Cricut Access, you will not be able to use this particular function. You do not have to be a paid subscriber to use Cricut Design Space, however. I'm bringing this up just in case we have some new folks who are new to Cricut and are still kind of learning like all the different lingo associated with the machine. So you don't have to be a paid subscriber to Cricut All Access. However, if you are not a paid subscriber, you will not be able to use this create sticker function. You also will, at this stage, not be able to use the layers, convert to layers function that I'm going to show you later as well. So that's just one little sticking point to be aware of. The other thing is with the create sticker, you have to you have to use a Cricut Joy Extra, any of the Explore series machines, any of the Maker series machines, or the Cricut Venture. You cannot use Create Sticker with the original Cricut Joy, the white and turquoise machine, because it does not have print then cut capabilities, whereas the Joy Extra, the Makers, the Explorers, and the Venture do. So just that's another caveat that you need to be aware of. So you are doing a print then cut function, but the way you create the sticker is different. You're going to use this create sticker here. So let's go ahead and click check it out. Now with create sticker, you have two options. The first one is a die cut. So that means that you will run it through your inkjet printer to get your sticker image or images, depending on how many stickers you're making. And your machine will cut through your material so that you will have and then you can pull that off and you'd have a standalone sticker. The other option is kiss cut. A kiss cut is when your blade, your Cricut blade, only cuts out the sticker, and so then you would pull just the sticker off, but you'd still have the carrier sheet intact. So think about like when you buy stickers from the store and you just pull off the sticker that you want, but the carrier sheet is still there, it doesn't go through. That's what a kiss cut is, and I will show you the examples once we get there. So what do you need in order to create your stickers? You will need a color inkjet printer. You're going to need Cricut or Cricut compatible materials. So Cricut sticker paper, Cricut printable vinyl, and so forth. When you go to cut, it'll show you the types of materials available, and I'll show you that when we get there. For me, I tend to use Cricut materials, Cricut made materials. I don't tend to use non-Cricut materials, and that's just because I'm one of those people that I get skittish about not using the materials that are made by the company that makes the machine, because I've had bad luck before, and I've had machines and things go haywire. So I just tend to use Cricut based materials for the stickers. Okay, the other thing you want is a light grip mat so that you can easily pull your sticker material off the mat once it's finished cutting. You need a fine point blade. Like I said, you need your Access subscription, and you need a Cricut compatible machine that will allow you to do print then cut. All right, the other thing, one more thing, is you probably want to do a calibration. I have a video that I did, I think it was late last year, and it was about print then cut. This was before this whole create sticker function came out. So if you go back and watch that, and I'll leave a link to it, there is a segment where I show you how to calibrate your machine. And you need to do that because Cricut needs to be able to, cut accurately. And so it'll take you through this wizard of calibrating your machine. I tend to calibrate my machines when there is a new software update. And obviously, if you have a brand new machine, you want to calibrate. So those are some things I wanted to tell you before we really get into the nitty gritty. I meant to tell you this before we got to this point, but you know how that goes. Okay, so if we decide to do a die cut, and that's cutting all the way through the paper, you would click that and you get this wizard where you can go through these options. So if you want a border around your sticker, you're able to do that. You can do thin, if you can see behind the screen see what the ball is doing. You can do standard, which is a little thicker. You could do wide, and you can do custom, where you can use a slider in the similar fashion that we use with offset to create your border. Or you could just have no border. Not everybody likes a border around their stickers. Sometimes I do, but I tend to make it very thin. You also have the option to change the color. So they're giving you white, you can do black, but you can also hit this plus sign right here, which will allow you to use the color slider, and then you can change the border color to anything that you want. You can see I picked that magenta, and you could see where the border turned to that color. If you don't want that, you can always go back. Like I said, I tend to just use white. The other thing is cutting interior shapes. So if you have an image that had letters or some sort of shapes that you want them or the machine to cut out, this is where you would click cut your interior shapes. But we do not have that in this particular image, so we're gonna skip that, and then we hit apply, and that is it. So in just 2 steps, really, I've created my sticker. Now, if I want to edit my sticker, then I would come back up to the function, and you see now it says, instead of create sticker, it says edit sticker. I would select that, and I can, you know, maybe you decide, you know what, I don't want it to be die cut. I don't want to cut through the paper. I just want to do a kiss cut. So then what you would do is you could click this back button, go back and start the wizard from the beginning, select kiss cut. I'm going to do my border again. I'm going to make it white. And then you have this new option here, which is die cut edge. And what that does, as you see, Cricut Design Space added this extra little border around it. What the die cut edge allows you to do, like say you had a birthday party or something and you were handing out stickers to everyone, what it does is it gives you a little bit of extra edge around your image so that you're able to easily pull off that sticker. Otherwise, you'd have to have really long nails and you'd be picking at the edge of the sticker in order to get it off the carrier sheet. So this little extra die cut edge eliminates the need for you to, you know, have long fingernails, essentially. So I can hit apply, and then, you know, we'll see the different options. So let me show you, oh, one more thing. Let me go back to this image here, Paradise Found image. So essentially what I did with this is I took 3 different images and put them together to make my own design. I just went over here into the image library and I found some things that I had already uploaded, and I assembled them together into made a design like that, and then grouped everything together. Let me see if I can back it up so you can see how I made it. So I think I need to hit ungroup. Yes. Okay. And then I'm going to undo the sticker. Okay. So these are all individual images. I layered them on top of each other to create some sort of design. And then I selected all of them by lassoing them. You can also just click all of them in the layers panel. And then I did right click group, so they become one image. Then I went up to create a sticker and said I want a kiss cut with a thin border, and I don't need the die cut edge. However, I do want to cut interior shapes, and you see this area right here, that would be part of the sticker. That's like the white background of the sticker. I don't want that. But if I cut interior shapes, boom, it's gone. So that's a neat little feature, and it cut it out of this D in Paradise as well. So that's a nice little feature to use. So let's go to the examples so you can see what they look like. And I've got a little stack here to show you. So this is kiss cut on Cricut sticker paper. Cricut sticker paper is like a cardstock weight. It's very thick. In fact, it's kind of thicker than what cardstock I normally use. But here's the Kiss Cut in action, where you see I'm lifting the sticker and the carrier sheet remains intact. There's no cutting through. And what I would use is a weeding tool to pull out the little interior shapes here. I'm not going to do all of them, but you get the point. So all of this stuff are the interior shapes. And then you see the white border that I have around the image. So that is the Kiss Cut. And then my beach ball here. It's pretty standard. But you see how easy that was as opposed to what we used to do. Now, here's where here's where it gets interesting. So this is Kiss Cut. The Cricut actually did a Kiss Cut even though I asked it to die cut. And I realized that the reason why is because it could not, for some reason I do not know, and through much experimentation I tried to figure this out, but it would not cut through the sticker paper. I don't know, go figure. But this is that little piece that I was telling you about, where it gives you that little extra edge so that you can lift your die cut off without, using your fingers to poke through. That's what this little piece was. So I don't really understand why the machine malfunctioned. Well, it didn't malfunction. It just didn't cut through. And I think it's because it's on sticker paper. So I ended up doing, like here, it kind of tried to cut through, and I used, what is it, the more on the, more pressure, and it just did not do it. But what I found was, let me set that aside. When I used vinyl sticker paper, it did cut through and give me the die cut as I want it. And that's what this looks like. So this would be a die cut where it cut all the way through the sticker paper to give me this. Now, again, you're going to need your nails to peel this guy off of the carrier sheet. But you see an example of the die, or the die cut. Here's another one of the die cuts. And here's where earlier I tried to, I don't know if you could see that, where I tried to use my nubs to peel that off. So I actually ended up printing it again using that special edge that they, die cut edge that they created. And there you go. So it does make it easier to peel off. Now, why it didn't work on the paper, I don't know. It could be that the paper was too thick. I doubt it, because Cricut does cut through cardstock paper. I don't know. And maybe if I used a different kind of paper, sticker paper, I would have had a different experience. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's because Cricut doesn't like, Cricut is more into the vinyl and the HG or HTV or whatever, the heat transfer stuff. And so they don't think about paper that much anymore and how things function with paper. I have no idea. That's my own little thing. But I don't know if anybody's had experience with Cricut not cutting through paper, let me know. But I do like this little die cut edge idea. I think that's kind of cool. So that's pretty much it with the sticker. Let me look through my notes real quick to see if there's anything else So we talked about the die cut edge and all of that, and calibration. So I think we've pretty much gone through everything. One other thing I want to show you, let me go back to the screen here. I don't know if it's going to allow me to do it because I don't have everything hooked up. But let's pretend that we've already printed. Let's see. Oh, see, I have to connect my maker. Let me turn on my machine. So, because I want to show you the menu that shows up down here for when you're cutting. You get some interesting options that you can use. So the maker is on. Let me see if I can get out of this and then come back. Let's just cancel the cut and start all over. We've already sent to the printer. Sometimes my wireless in the house is lame. Here we go. Okay, so this is where you're going to select your material. If I click, so compatible is already selected. So when you click on compatible, like say you were here with popular and just click on compatible, this is going to show you all of the materials that work with this create sticker function. So I have bookmarked the printable sticker paper because that's what I usually use. But you can see you have printable vinyl, you have printable waterproof stickers, clear stickers, etc. So if you're wondering what papers work with this, just click compatible. The other thing, so let's just use that. So when you are ready to cut, so we selected a kiss cut. So it's going to give us this additional drop-down menu where we can adjust the settings for the pressure of how much pressure we want to when we're cutting the paper. So more, default, or less. So you're able to do that. And then also, let me show you if we did the other. So this was, let's do this as a die cut. Oh, that's kiss cut. So let's do undo sticker. Let's go back, do it as a die cut, then blah, blah, apply. I'm going to turn off those stickers so we only see that one. And we just pretend we've already printed. Let's give it a second to... The other thing while that's warming up, you can move your image on your cutting sheet. So sometimes I do that to, if I have a lot of stickers. Cricut tends to kind of bunch them together. I don't like that, so I use my project preview screen to move things around. Also, if you wanted to make additional copies of your sticker, you would use this, but you would have to have multiples of your image on the mat in order to do that. Okay, so I wanted to show you, oh, it's not showing me, oh, I know what I did. I wanted to show you, I think I have to turn on, let's go back, the kiss cut, then die cut edge. So let's just do apply, continue. I've already printed. I wanted to show you the additional drop down option that you get when you're ready to cut. So let's just pick our paper. Okay, here we go. So you can change your kiss cut pressure, and you can also adjust the die cut pressure. That's for that fancy edge that helps you lift off your sticker from your carrier sheet. So you have the option to do that as well. So that's pretty much Create Sticker. Very simple, way easier than what we used to have to do with the flatten and the attach and the data and the group, whatever. You don't have to do that. Just select your image, hit Create Sticker, make your selections, print, and then cut. Very easy. So I will check to see if there's any questions. I don't see any. Okay, so we are now going to move into the other thing I wanted to show you, which is convert to layers. So this one is interesting, to say the least. So I'm going to pull up this floaty. I am currently, let's replace that image. I am currently working on some beach themed images for the Scrapbook School website. So look for those shortly. So let's talk about convert to layers. What is it? So what it is what you can do is you can take an image, a multicolored image, like clip art or like a PNG file or a JPEG. You can take that and upload it into Design Space. And then what it will do is it will convert it. It'll break it apart into layers, which is it's an interesting thing, because as somebody who designs SVGs, that's the pre-work I do to actually create an SVG for you all to use. So to have this convert to layers function, it actually gives you guys a little bit more power and management over the images that you can put into Design Space. As I mentioned before, you need to be an Access member right now to use it, and it is only available in beta. So I had to switch my Design Space over to beta function. So anytime you want to use beta, I guess I can show you how you can do that. Let's go over to my screen again. Anytime you want to use beta, you would come over here to your name and you'd go over to settings, and this tells you what version of Design Space you are using. And it also tells you your application experience. So I am currently using beta, and as soon as this webinar is over, I'm going back to live because there's some weird things going on. And beta just means that Design Space or Cricut is still testing, and use at your own risk is basically what they're saying. So I'm using beta just for this demo, and then after that, I'm out of here, going back to live. There's enough issues with live. I don't like the weird things I saw in beta. I don't want that. Okay, so previously when you uploaded an image into Design Space, you would come over here to upload, and you would upload image, and then and it's going to look different because it's in beta. But you would find your file on somewhere on your computer or on your mobile device. Then you would go through this wizard they would ask you, is this a simple or complex or moderately complex image? You'd be able to erase the background, and then it would give you a choice. They would either say this, if it detected that it was an SVG file, they would say, we're going to upload this as multiple layers, or if it detected it as a flat image, you would be able to upload it as it would become like a PNG or JPEG flat file. So now when you take an image, and these are the image types that they're saying: JPEG, PNG, GIF, SVG, DXF, HEIC, and BMP. HEIC is like a file format for Apple on their photos. So now what they're saying is you don't need to go through that wizard of telling Design Space like what kind of image is it, simple or complex or whatever. It's going to detect that on its own. And then it'll give you some options of what you can do with it. So I'm going to show you that with the floaty. I don't know if I saved the floaty, if there's a version of the floaty on my desktop. It should be. Let me see. I think it's under beach. Yes, here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this PNG floaty. Okay, and then hit continue. And so it's giving, so this is what I'm used to seeing here. It's going to remove the background, but I don't need to worry about that because it's already done, and I don't need to erase anything. And then I'm going to hit apply and continue. And then it gives me these three options. And it's saying that I can do my multiple layers. I can upload just a simple one color image or silhouette. So that's what's here in the middle. Or I can upload a flat graphic, which they're saying is perfect for print and cut. So if you wanted to make this a sticker or sticker die cut type thing, then you would, and you wanted to use print and cut, then you would select the flat graphic. For our purposes, we're going to do multiple layers. Now, here's what's interesting. If I compare the images, this looks like exactly like the original image. It's got multiple colors, and what Cricut interpreted it as, we only see two colors, brown and yellow. We don't see those other colors. That's what you see so far. But if I click continue, and it's going to give me this caveat about instantly converting an image, a flat image, into layers, and that I have to be an Access member to do it. So I'm going to, yes, I want to check it out. So you can see here, that's not my image, right? So at first I panicked. I'm like, oh my God, what did you all do to my floaty here? You only gave me these two colors. And this is just how you can preview the image. You can preview it full, or the different slices that Cricut made. Those are your options. So let me go back here. So I only see brown and yellow, and I panicked. Over here, it's telling me that my uploaded image is indeed clip art, and they're calling clip art. It's not like clip art from like back in the 80s and 90s when if you're that of a certain age, you remember clip art that you could get from like clip art files that you could get from like CDs or from like books, and you had to scan it. It's not, they're just calling any image clip art. And it's not a photo, but it's telling me, well, based on what you've uploaded, we're going to give you two options. We're going to give you stacked, or we're going to give you sliced. So what's the difference between stacked and slice? Stacked is what you would look at as a typical SVG, scalable vector graphic file, where you've seen them, you import them, they come in, they have multiple layers, and they're stacked on top of each other. Then you have sliced. Sliced is if you're going to paper piece. So you have this one piece, and then you're going to connect it to the other piece, and then connect it to the other piece, and put it together that way. No stacking. It's just like a puzzle. So you can pick which one you want. Your typical SVG is going to be stacked. So if you like to stack things on top of each other for your SVGs and have them layered, and when Cricut cuts them and you want to glue them on top of each other, then you would do stacked. You would do sliced if you just want to make it like a puzzle piece and put it together. Okay. I don't know what I want to do yet because I'm still trying to figure out why do I only have 2 colors. Well, if I come down to layers and I click that, now I see even more colors that Cricut has interpreted from my design. So I can go the 3 color route, I can go 4 colors, 5 colors, on up to 9. Now in my original image, I think I only had, I know I had white, and I had 2 shades of pink. One was for a shadow and the other was for this part. The bottom was like a turquoise, this was yellow, and then I had the eye, which was black and white. So I think it's this 7 color one. So I'm gonna select that and see what happens. Boom. Yes, this is exactly the color scheme that I had on my original SVG. Now let's look at it in stacked format. So this is white. So what it's doing is it's going to take this entire image and then I'm going to stack it on top of each other to create, let's go back here. All of these images are going to be stacked on top of each other to create that one image. So that's 7 different layers. That's a lot of paper. I don't necessarily want to do that. Now, if I did sliced, these are actually the original pieces from the way I designed the SVG. So I have white, which it looks like what they did was they cut the eye out. You can't really see here, but it looks like what they did was cut the eye out. Whereas when I designed it, I didn't have the eye cut out. I just had it so you could glue it on top. But it does have, you know, this back end of the flippy. It's got its shadow, the beak, the main part, the body, the yellow, and then the bottom. And then this, yeah, this, and then the eye. So I think for my purposes, I would want to use the slice function because it's going to be truer to the way the original SVG was designed, and I don't like how the stacked version of it looks. I don't want to cut out 7 different pieces of basically the same shape in order to create the image. So I'm going to go with stacked, or I'm sorry, sliced, and I'm going to use 7 layers. So then I hit continue, and then it just gives me an option of where I can save everything, and then I just upload it. Okay, so that's, I have 2 on the canvas. I'll just get rid of 1. So this is my image here, and you can see the different layers. So when I go to make it, it's going to look like a normal kind of situation on the project preview. Each one of the mats has its own color and element on it. But I would have to piece everything together like a puzzle. Whereas before, when it was stacked, I would have to stack all of the items together. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Now they're saying for, in my notes, I have that for stacked, it creates a solid base layer that other layers stack on top of, best for HTV iron-on, paper, and vinyl projects, which is what I just said. And then, no, I didn't just say that. I was thinking that for slice, sorry. And then for slice, it fits together like the puzzle piece without overlapping, best for infusible ink projects. So this is where, you know, I guess it depends on how your SVG was designed, the original version of the SVG, whatever kind of image you decided to upload. I guess it depends on how it was designed in terms of how Cricut is going to interpret the output. The other thing that I probably should have shown you, which I will show you now. Actually, let's try the beach ball and see how that works. Oh, I have to pretend to upload it again from my computer. Let's see. There you go. It didn't even ask me. Oh, because I'm sorry. I need to have a flat image. Let me do. My floaty again. Okay. Let's go back to multiple layers. Okay. Let's do the 7 again. What I didn't show you before is this advanced tab. So you can smooth the borders of the shapes to reduce what they call the complexity. Sometimes, like, it could alter the design, like it's doing this weird thing on the eye. Let's see what happens if we put it on the high setting. Yeah, I'm not really sure what that's doing, so I'm just going to do reset. The other options are you can reduce the noise. Like I guess if you had extraneous stuff in the image, you could click that, like speckles and other details that may have shown up on the SVG or PNG file when it was imported. This is actually making my image look worse, so I'm going to say none. And then you have simplify, which helps simplify the image for cutting. So when you have an image in Design Space, it has what they call nodes around it. Like on the SVG or file, it has nodes, and those are cutting points that Cricut interprets, and it cuts along those nodes. The more nodes you have, the more and the machine has to work. So you're trying to get as few cutting nodes as you can on an SVG while still retaining the design quality. So I have already simplified these images or these cutting pieces in Adobe Illustrator because I design in Adobe Illustrator. So I've already reduced the nodes and simplified the image, so it really doesn't need to be simplified further. And like I said, some of these settings actually made the image look worse. So I would probably not use advanced, but again, it's up to you, however depending on the image that you have and what you need to do with it, if you would use the advanced settings. Now, you can upload a photograph, but the photograph has to be very, very simple. So here's an example of a photograph that I used. It was of an ice skate. And it looks horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It just, like if I click one of the layers like that, you can't do anything with that. And this is taking a photo and using convert to layers. The photo is too complex for Cricut to break down into layers. I mean, it did break it down into layers, but this is not layers that you want to even attempt to play with. So far, my recommendation is to not use the photo function. Like, don't upload photos for convert to layers. I think they still need to work on that. I don't think it's ready for prime time, but I think it's perfectly fine for using a PNG file to do that. I think it worked pretty well for the most part. So I'm going to click undo to get rid of that. All right, now let me show you what that looks like, because I did cut out my floaty. And I'm actually going to put it together. So you can see how the puzzle piece approach works. So these are some things I cut out earlier today. And here's, I'm going to put it on this blue scratch piece of background paper. I already assembled the eye because the pieces were so tiny and I didn't want to lose them. So let me get some glue. I'm just going to use a glue pen. I'm looking for a glue pen that, sorry for the noise, here we go. Looking for a glue pen that I've already used. Okay, so here are my pieces. So I've got my duck body, and then I've got this little piece here. So yeah, so let's go ahead and glue the duck body down. I think it did a pretty good job cutting. It's pretty smooth, no issues. What I would probably do, and because I'm still working on this image, is I would probably give it a base on which to build on top of. But for the purposes of this demo, I did not do that. And I've got my beak that goes there. There you go. And then, let's see, we're going to put this here. And this is my shadow piece, which is essentially the reverse of this color paper, which makes it easy to do shadows. I like double-sided paper that is shades of each other, because you can do, it not only gives you some different color choices, you get 2 color choices in one, but you also can do shading, which is nice if you do a lot of die cut paper piecing. And then there's the bottom. And that's my floaty. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. Using convert to layers. So that's not bad. It's not bad. It's different. I think they need to probably streamline it a little bit more, but I think this is probably going to be the way that you upload images into Design Space moving forward. So after it gets out of beta, I think this is the way it's going to be for uploading images, you know, as opposed to the way that we currently do it now. So I think there's some promise to it. I'd like to see them work on the photos though, because I think it would be kind of cool to upload photos, especially like if you have photos of people and you want to cut them out in Design Space somehow and add it to your layout or your t-shirt or whatever you want to do. I think it would be kind of cool if they could get that fixed. And I'm going to play with it a little bit more. I'm going to see if I could use a simpler image to see if I get a different result, that image was probably too complex. And the other thing is you probably want a simpler image if you're just going to use like the flat clip art as well. You want something that's going to be easy for Design Space to interpret and break down into its different layers. So let me check to see if there's any questions. I don't see any right now, but like I said, if you think of something afterwards, you can go ahead and leave a comment if you're watching on the Scrapbook School website. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'm happy to answer questions there as well. I had some other things because we're wrapping it up. Here we go. I've had to find my notes. So I'm probably going to do this regularly as I see that Cricut has some updates. I think I'll come on and just, do some quick demos like I did tonight. I also want to bring up that if you have anything that you want to learn about Design Space, any specific questions you may have or things that you want me to demo, I'm happy to do that for you. You can email me at carolyn@thescrapbookschool.com. You can also just leave a comment on this webinar and I will, put that into consideration, because I did this webinar because somebody asked me if they could, if I could do like regular updates on Design Space functions that come out. So that's how this whole thing started. So look for more of those in the coming months. I'm going to maybe once a month or as Cricut updates. It depends on what their schedule is and how often that I would do something like this. Some other things I wanted to mention that if you haven't checked it out already, I'm doing some real basic back to basics, scrapbooking basics series is what I call it, where I'm talking about designing, journaling, selecting photos, real back to basics kind of stuff, sort of refresher for people who've been scrapbooking, but certainly enlightening hopefully for people who are new to scrapbooking. I've already done one on selecting photos, and I did a beach theme layout and talked about how you select photos to tell a story on your pages. The one that's coming up next week is going to be about design. So how do you choose colors that match? How do you make your layouts? There are different approaches to making layouts, asymmetrical design versus symmetrical designs, rule of thirds. We'll talk about all of that. I promise it's not boring. It's actually really interesting. And once you kind of know these little design cheats, it makes scrapbooking different for you. It makes your layouts look better. So be sure to check that out. And also, if you are new to scrapbooking or you want a refresher, I have an online course, self-paced, that you can take that talks about how to scrapbook, really gets into the supplies that you need. We talk about design. We don't go too deep into it, but we do talk about design and style, how to organize your photos. That class is available right now. If you're on the scrapbookschool.com, it's highlighted on the homepage. It's called Scrapbooking 101. If you want a sneak peek at what is in the class, I have a YouTube video that shows you the sneak peek. You could also see that video on the scrapbookschool.com website, and it tells you what to expect in the class. I've gotten some pretty good feedback on it so far. So if you're into scrapbooking if you're new to scrapbooking and you want to learn more, or if you know somebody who is talking about scrapbooking or getting into scrapbooking and they want to learn more, point them in the direction of that course. Let's see what else we got going on. I think so. The items that I showed you today, the floaty and the beach ball, they're going to be part of some beach themed products that I hope to put out in the next couple of weeks. So look for that. What else? I think that's it. So thank you for joining me today for this webinar about Cricut Design Space updates. As I said, I'm going to do more of these in the future as Cricut comes out with new features and functions. I'm going to do these webinars to demo them for you. If there's anything that you would like to see demoed, go ahead and email me at carolyn@thescrapbookschool.com, and I will see you on the YouTubes or on the interwebs or somewhere out there on the gram. Anyway, hope you have a good evening, and I will see you soon. And as always, you know what's coming. Happy scrapping.